who's really looking forward to Thursday night? The presidential debate. Not Joe Biden, not Donald Trump, not any of us who do political commentary for a living. No. It's Hunter. Because for one night out of the year, he won't be the most doped up Biden. Welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show. If you would like to join us, the number is 414-799-1130. That's our AdventNews.com talk and text line. Reach me toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me, DOD@iHeartMedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. You can watch the show streaming on X, streaming on Facebook, or streaming live on YouTube. Just search for Dan O'Donnell or Dan O'Donnell Show. Be sure to like and subscribe, repost on X, share on Facebook, be a part of Dan Nation, and help spread the word. Ronnie Jackson, President Trump's former doctor, now a congressman, is demanding that President Biden submit to a drug test. He's written a letter demanding that the president, before he's allowed to compete, I guess this is like the Olympics of politics, but it's rather obvious that what's going on here is President Biden isn't just preparing for the debate. They're trying to get him on a schedule. And the best theory that I've heard about what they're doing, yes, I'm sure they're going to inject him full of something so that he's ready to perform in 2 days. By the way, we will be airing that debate on WISN, the live Fox News radio stream, plus post-debate coverage all night long. If you can't get to a TV, or even if you can get to a TV, watch the debate on CNN, but put it on mute and listen to us. Don't give CNN the ratings. Put it on us. Tuesday night, or Thursday night, I should say. It is going to be, as a lot of people are surmising, we had the soundbite of Van Jones, the presidency in a nutshell. This entire election boiling down to this. If Biden doesn't perform, he is likely off the ticket. Now, this has led to a whole lot of strategizing on the part of some armchair politicos saying, hey, maybe Trump should tank. Maybe Trump should allow Biden to win so they don't replace him. The theory being that Biden would be the easiest candidate to beat. I'm not entirely sure that that's necessarily true, but Biden is clearly despised by a significant number of American voters, and chances are the only thing that would go against that is it's very, very difficult to get a candidate introduced to the American people and basically ready for prime time with this amount of time remaining in a presidential race. Essentially, the candidate, let's just assume for the sake of arguments, as I have assumed for a long time, it would be Gavin Newsom. You don't think so. Producer Dave is disagreeing with me. You think it's going to be J.B. Pritzker. I would actually think he would be my number 2 most likely candidate. I think they are in love with Newsom. I think they think Newsom is beloved by the California class donors. One thing I do know with absolute certainty, it would not be Kamala Harris unless, of course, Democrats are absolutely terrified about a black voter revolt if Dems actually dump Kamala. Kamala actually polls worse against Trump than Biden does. But if Biden doesn't perform, if the cocktail of drugs doesn't work, it is entirely likely that he's off the ticket. This is why, not only, I think, are they working on debate prep, are they working on the drugs that are going to get him through this evening, I believe, and I can't remember where I saw this theory, it's floating around most likely on X, that what they're trying to do is totally change Biden's sleep schedule so that he doesn't start sundowning until much later. In other words, they're getting him to bed later and later and later. They're essentially first jet lag him. So, as you know, I got back from Europe about a week and a day ago. And folks, let me tell you, I was in Ireland a couple of years ago. I got back right back on my normal sleep schedule. It was fine. This time, for whatever reason, it took me about a week before I wasn't getting up every morning at about 4 a.m. thinking it was 11 a.m. and I had overslept. The jet lag effect is real. Sundowning is where someone who is in various stages of cognitive decline, whether it's Alzheimer's or just the sort of natural progression of age, where as the sun starts to go down, they start to lose it a little bit. They get cranky, they get irritable, they get more confused. Basically, it's the cumulative effect of being up for the day. They get tired. And I'm here going to interrupt myself and say, we are talking about the President of the United States right now. Can we please just take a minute to talk about how Kafkaesque and surreal it is that we are talking about the President of the United States and the sundown effect? Okay, just needed to get that out of my system. So what they're trying to do, because if you've noticed, President Biden doesn't do any public events. He's not seen in public, except very, very rarely, maybe the occasional state dinner or fundraising event. But you saw what happened on, what was it, Saturday night? Last week, 2 weeks ago, where he was at that big Democrat donor event in Los Angeles, and President Obama had to actually guide him by the hand to get him off stage because he looked so confused. That's what they're worried about. If he has a senior moment, if he slips, if he, has a video emerge on the internet that goes viral and KJB has to do cleanup duty a couple of days later and call it a cheap fake, then his goose is probably politically cooked. But here's why I think Biden is actually going to be okay. It's going to be 3-on-1, and everybody knows it. The debate parameters that President Trump agreed to. This debate is only going to be airing on CNN. And this, I believe, is by design. This is because it's not being run by the Presidential Commission on Debates, which the Republican Party wisely got out of because of just how horribly biased they were. Trump agreed to a challenge from President Biden, which essentially came out of the blue. You might remember a couple of months ago, President Trump was saying Biden can't debate, he's too far gone. And the Democrats, in what I believe to be a little bit of a Hail Mary, because people were starting to see, and I believe that this was reflected in the polls, the internals that the Biden team was seeing, that the biggest knock on Biden and the biggest thing that was barring his reelection is the perception and the reality that he's simply too far mentally gone, that he is no longer physically or mentally capable of holding one of the toughest jobs in the entire world, if not the toughest. So he, out of the blue, goes on X and challenges Trump to a debate. Trump immediately accepts, and as he put it, he had to accept whatever parameters, whatever guidelines they threw at him, because if he didn't, then he would be seen as something of a chicken. So there's no audience. Biden has no worry about getting confused. There are going to be 2 commercial breaks, and the mics are going to be cut whenever the opponent is speaking. So there's no interruption. This actually, I believe, helps Trump and not Biden. Trump came out so hot to trot in the first of 2 2020 debates. He talked all over Biden. It looked like Trump was hopped up on something. He was so ready for bear that I believe he might not have lost the debate, but he didn't do himself any favors, especially, and I noticed this right away, about 40 minutes in, when Biden started to just slow down and his answers were getting less and less coherent. It was almost like President Trump was a prize fighter, and instead of letting him just tire himself out, he was wrapping him up and sort of saving him by constantly interrupting Biden. But the biggest disadvantage that Trump is going to face is, of course, the CNN moderators. I have heard the great writer Stephen L. Miller, not the Trump advisor Stephen Miller, but Stephen L. Miller, who's now an editor of the American Spectator. He's written at Fox. He's written at National Review, pretty much everywhere. He goes by Red Steez on Twitter/X. Very, very funny, very insightful guy. He refers to Jake Tapper, one of the 2 moderators, as passive voice Keith Olbermann. Every bit as radical left as Keith Olbermann, but he just isn't quite as forthcoming about his rabid bias. Great friend of the show and Trump National Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt went on Casey Hunt's show yesterday to basically talk about the debate and made the very obvious point that Tapper is not going to be a fair moderator. I'm sure you have heard this audio by now. Casey Hunt would not, under any circumstances, allow this.
So it takes someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently,
we're going to stop this interview if you're going to keep attacking my colleagues.
Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf, I am willing to have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay.
Now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Caroline, thank you very much for your time. You are welcome to come back at any point. She is welcome to come back and speak about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump will have equal time to Joe Biden when they both join us now at later this week in Atlanta for this debate.
You could tell Casey Hunt was flustered. Trump will have equal time next week, this week, later next week, because Caroline Leavitt accused Jake Tapper of constantly comparing Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler. He does. Here's a montage.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, in the United States. Donald Trump, a couple times over the weekend, referred to immigrants from South America, Africa, and Asia. He did not mention Europe. South America, Africa, and Asia as, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, which it's not hyperbole. That does very directly echo Adolf Hitler's language before World War II. To open up a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf, you would find the Nazi leader describing the mixing of non-Germans with Germans as poisoning. There's really no other way to say it. Donald Trump's language mirrors this directly.
So, how exactly was Caroline Leavitt inaccurate? She wasn't, of course, but Casey Hunt could not allow. This had nothing to do with Casey Hunt white knighting for Jake Tapper. She had to make sure that nobody gets in their heads that Jake Tapper is, in fact, the passive voice Keith Olbermann, and that this, in fact, will not be a fair debate. That the moderator's entire goal will be to try to prop up Joe Biden and try to attack Donald Trump. Now, anybody who has ever watched a presidential debate knows that this is what the moderators do. I cannot think of a time where an avowed open conservative has ever moderated a presidential debate. Probably in the primary, if I'm thinking, Brett Baier is more likely conservative than he is liberal, but Baier is actually one of the few who seems to take his role as a news anchor very, very seriously and doesn't appear to tip his hand. But in a general election presidential debate, seriously, when is the last time you have heard someone like, say, a Hugh Hewitt? No, Chris Wallace is very liberal, Dave. No, Chris Wallace would be the closest because he's not a fire-breathing liberal masquerading as a nonpartisan journalist. And that's the game that they all play. Well, we don't pick sides. Journalists don't pick sides. Of course they do, for goodness sakes. They've spent the past 9 years telling us Trump is the devil, that democracy will fall if Trump is allowed to be on the ballot. In fact, there was a great soundbite that resurfaced in the wake of the Caroline Leavitt Casey Hunt controversy from yesterday of CNN saying that democracy has died a little bit because the Supreme Court ruled that Colorado was wrong and Donald Trump should be allowed on the ballot, even though it was a 9-0 decision. It was partisan hackery from Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito and their upside-down flags and trips with rich dudes. Well, it's a 9-0 decision. Even the court's liberals understand that you can't just have a state kicking somebody off the ballot in the ironic name of protecting democracy. But this is exactly who the media is. This is exactly what the media does. They obviously take sides under this veneer of objectivity that nobody actually believes anymore. And this is why supposedly nonpartisan media is just so badly suffering, because it is and has always been a game. From the days of Walter Cronkite, there's no such thing as an unbiased media. Everyone, from the people who write the news, the producers, the directors, the story selection bias is by far the biggest form of bias, and the sort of bias that you notice the least. If you're watching the news, for example, what is news? Why is it news? For example, here's the perfect example. Why was it a multi-day hair-on-fire freakout that Donald Trump supposedly called Milwaukee a horrible city? That's selection bias. The selection of that story to gin up a citywide and hopefully statewide outrage to try to get Wisconsin, a critical swing state, against Donald Trump, that's a form of bias. The most obvious form of bias that'll be beyond apparent on Thursday will be in what questions are asked Joe Biden and what questions are asked Donald Trump. In fact, we do this on the Dan O'Donnell Show pretty regularly, where we do nothing but just play a montage, and we're likely to do it again Friday morning if I'm just predicting how the show's going. We're going to do a montage of just Jake Tapper questions to Donald Trump and just Jake Tapper questions to Joe Biden. And I want you to notice the tone and tenor of both. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. It is classical conservatism with contemporary style, and it is coming right back.
Conservative thought, not just talk. The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Coming back to Las Vegas, September 20th and 21st. Streaming live only on Hulu.
Don't miss
Big Sean, Camila Cabello, Doja Cat, Gwen Stefani, Hozier, Keith Urban, New Kids on the Block, Paramore, Shabuzi, The Black Crowes, Thomas Rhett, Victoria Monet,
and more.
Get tickets to our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, right now, before they sell out.
At AXS.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for the incredible team at Mander Collision and Glass, now with 6 locations to serve you. And you hear me talk about my great experiences with Mander all the time. Here's David. I had a chip in my windshield of my 2009 Chevy Malibu repaired today. Scheduling was a breeze. Staff was great. I was in and out in under half an hour. That's the Mander difference for you. Quick, professional work with customer service that's second to none. They treat you as a valued member of the family and not just a number like some of the big national chains. It's service that you can only get with a third-generation family business, and that's why I've been using Mander Collision and Glass for so many years, and so many listeners are now discovering and have discovered the Mander difference too. You can check them out at any one of their great locations: Cedarburg, Brookfield, Heartland, Milwaukee, Muskego, or Waukesha, and start your repair today at mandercollision.com.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and as a community bank, we sincerely appreciate our customer loyalty. Over nearly 90 years, we've done all we can to return the favor. Great Midwest Bank offers flexible solutions that bigger banks and credit unions simply can't, because our entire team is right here in the community. We love helping our neighbors when we're at work and then catching up over the weekend. Visit us at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
For anyone living with everyday aches and pains, there's a lot of things you can try. You know, tough it out, bite the bullet, grin and bear it. Or you can try something that has helped so many other people, Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that addresses the inflammation where pain starts. And Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain for a short time. It helps reduce or even eliminate it all day, every day. Wherever you're hurting, your back, neck, joints, or muscles, in about 3 weeks or less, you'll see a difference and rediscover what it's like to feel better and live better. So if everyday pain is affecting your life, don't go with the mind over matter approach. Try Relief Factor instead. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
Be greeted by an owner at America's largest employee-owned jewelry store.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
We still allowed to play this song? I mean, I know it's Mace and not P. Diddy. But, I mean, Mace is like Puff Daddy's homie. We are still playing Michael Jackson. Yeah, Michael was never convicted of anything, though. I guess neither is Puffy, but this is Welcome Back, of course, a remix of the famous Welcome Back Kotter theme by 90s rapper Mace. I believe this song was from like 2005, 2006, though, after Mace retired to be a Christian pastor. Ghetto Superstar, dude, that was like the ODB and Praz. Mace wasn't on that, was he? I don't think it would have been. Yeah, I know they did all these collaborations. Mace might have been on Ghetto Superstar now that I think about it, but I'm pretty sure that was like Praz from the Fugees, the ODB from Wu-Tang Clan, and I don't even know who was singing. Wyclef Jean was on that song. Okay, this is rap. You never know. You turn on a Drake song, you never know who's going to be featured on it. That's why I love hip hop. You never have that with like rock music. It's like you won't have like a Foo Fighters song, and then all of a sudden there's Green Day playing in the middle. No, this is true. You will have Post Malone is just on every song now. If there is, it's like Taylor Swift. Oh, hey, there's Post Malone. He's sort of like the Forrest Gump of pop music. He's just sort of wandering around, just kind of shows up. There's a microphone. Okay, Posty, he's on the Morgan Wallen song. He must be doing something right because every song Post Malone is on is a huge hit. Fortnite by Taylor Swift was like the lead single off her new album. Morgan Wallen's got his big single. Did you hear who's back? Who's got a big single that's in competition for Song of the Summer, producer Dave? Slim Shady himself, Eminem. He essentially did a remix of one of his earlier songs and then used as the chorus Steve Miller's Abracadabra. And it's hysterical. I know a lot of people don't like Eminem because he's a leftist. And by the way, all of these guys, Eminem was like bleep the establishment. When I was growing up, he was like the guy that your parents were terrified of. Now, I was when Eminem came out, I was like 17, 18. My parents didn't really care what I was listening to. So I think when I was like 12 years old, I biked to the Exclusive Company and bought the NWA Straight Outta Compton CD. Say it with me, the Exclusive Company. That's right, Dave. That's how old school Milwaukee I am. The Exclusive Company. Man, did I love the Atomic Records. You would go down there because I listened to like punk rock and ska, and a lot of the albums that the Exclusive Company and Best Buy and what was the big one? Camelot Records, was that? Oh gosh, what was the one in the Sam Goody? No, there was another one. There was another one on like 76th and Edgerton. I swear it was called Camelot Records. It was Camelot Records, okay. And so I got NWA Straight Outta Compton. But Eminem, when he came out, he was like, see, Marilyn Manson was, because of the Columbine and all of that, Marilyn Manson was like the big boogeyman in music that was blamed for all of society's problems. And then Eminem came out. There was a very funny Onion article back when the Onion was funny. And it was right after Eminem blew up and he was getting all this controversy and, all of this. And it was Marilyn Manson now going door to door to try to shock people. And the picture was like Marilyn Manson outside of a picture window at a house. Eminem was like the ultimate anti-establishment guy. And now the reality is that liberalism is the establishment. Conservatism is punk rock. In fact, I was at, I believe I said, my 25th high school reunion, and I saw a woman that I hadn't seen. I had not seen this woman for probably 15, 20 years. And she and I always bonded because we were into like the NoFX, Rancid, the Descendants, all of these underground punk rock groups. And I was talking to her and she was asking, hey, are you still a news anchor? Are you still doing sports and all that? Because we hadn't seen each other for a while. I said, well, no, I do a political talk show. She's since moved out of the state. Came back for the reunion. I said, yeah, she's like, well, what side are you on? And I kind of laughed and I'm like, well, Jenny, I'm sort of conservative. And much to my surprise, she goes, oh, that's awesome. Us too. And she introduces me to her husband. They're huge conservatives. So we were talking about, she's this punk rock chick from back in high school. She's still got this short bleach blonde hair and the tattoos and everything. And we were talking about how conservatism is the punk rock. Conservatism is like the middle finger to the establishment now. Conservatism says, in the immortal words of Rage Against the Machine from 30 years ago, bleep you, I won't do what you tell me. Liberalism says, bleep you, you gotta do what we say. That's the sort of fundamental difference. But yeah, Eminem is back. It's in contention for Song of the Summer. And frankly, I'm not as big into pop music. I always like trying to pick a song of the summer. Right now, the Clubhouse leader, I believe the song is called Houdini. And that is Eminem's song. And yeah, he uses, abra, cadabra, the sample for which I'm sure. So even if you hate Eminem, listen to the song because we all love Steve Miller, right? We all love the Steve Miller Band. Steve Miller is getting most of the proceeds of that song. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. This is The Dan O'Donnell Show.
What are the most common causes of power failure? Severe weather, natural disasters, equipment failure, and flying deer. Okay, maybe that's not so common, but I once heard of an eagle that was carrying a deer home for dinner when it dropped the flightless fawn into a set of power lines and knocked out an entire city grid. It just goes to show, your power can go out at any time and for any reason. So, before a descending doe destroys your day, let Mr. Holland's Home Services install a brand new, fully automatic backup home generator. We can safely hardwire your generator directly into your home's electrical system, so it can keep things running in case Bambi bombs your backyard. Or if you already own a generator, talk to us about service and maintenance. Keep your venison chilled with a whole house backup generator from Mr. Holland's Home Services. Call 866-992-1717 or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. If you want staying power, we can help.
Dan O'Donnell here. It's This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Filling in for Dave Spano is Annex's chief economist, Brian Jacobson. And Brian, this week, as has been the talk for pretty much the past several weeks and year and a half, is NVIDIA very briefly surpassing Microsoft to be the biggest company in the world.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see last week how NVIDIA became the most valuable company in the world, surpassing Microsoft, even though Microsoft has about 3 times the amount of revenue as NVIDIA. It's somewhat reminiscent of what happened during the 1960s and 1970s with this phenomenon called the Nifty 50. It is suddenly, maybe it's Nifty NVIDIA. If you remember that, the 60s and 70s, you had these 50 large cap companies, blue chip, really great growth prospects, and they did really well for a number of years, but all of a sudden their valuations really couldn't hold up in a challenging economic environment. Those companies, they were leaders in their industries, seen as having really strong growth potential, strong and stable earnings, and suddenly they began to falter. So we'll have to see if NVIDIA is able to regain that crown, or is this like a game King of the Hill where all of a sudden, people are kind of pushing each other off to the top of it?
Well, it certainly seems that way because you've had NVIDIA, you've had Apple, you've had Microsoft for a long time. Tesla was the darling of the stock market before some significant issues there. It is remarkable, though, Brian, how companies that are the largest today in the next several decades will be nowhere near, and such is the nature of technological innovation. Such is also the reason you need to know what you own and why you own it, and why you need to head to AnnexWealth.com. For Brian Jacobson, I'm Dan O'Donnell saying thanks for listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Make your kitchen great again with Mill Street Kitchen and Bath, Wisconsin's veteran-owned connection to fully custom and economical kitchen cabinetry, as well as flooring, tile, sinks, and more. We not only provide remodeling services, but we also sell to do-it-yourselfers, builders, and contractors. Mill Street Kitchen and Bath has the products and services you're looking for at the price you can afford. Please visit us at millstreetkitchenbath.com. That's MILL streetkitchenbath.com, or call us at 262-955-1955.
If you've had back surgery and aren't satisfied with the results, or you struggle with chronic back pain, there's a new FDA-approved biologic called Disc Seal. It's quick, simple, safe, and highly effective. Disc Seal requires no surgery. It's a 20-minute procedure, and it's now available at Longevity Health 360 in Brookfield. Live pain-free with Longevity Health 360 and Disc Seal. Visit WIDiscSeal, that's SEEL.com, or call 262-200-2700 today.
Is getting gas at Chevron burning a hole in your wallet? Get the Drop app. With Drop, you can earn free gift cards just by filling up your tank. Download Drop now. Use code DROP77 to instantly receive $5 in points.
At Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, we have finance options for new exterior remodeling projects for almost anybody. And if you have the right credit, we'll beat your bank's rate.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Think about it. How prepared are you for the unexpected? Emergencies strike without warning, and we all know something big will be thrown at us soon. Being prepared makes all the difference. This means having a reliable food supply stored to use during tougher times. That's why at My Patriot Supply, we sell thousands of our 4-week emergency food kits every week. Each kit is packed with delicious, easy-to-prepare meals that provide over 2,000 calories per day. These kits are designed to stand by for up to 25 years, ready to use when you need them most. This week, save $50 on every 4-week emergency food kit you need. Simply go to MyPatriotSupply.com and secure one for each family member. That's $50 off every 4-week emergency food kit. Order by 3 p.m. and your kit's shipped that same day. It's better to have emergency food than to need it and not have it. Shop MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Let Tri-County Contracting take care of the outside of your home so you don't have to. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows from Tri-County Contracting. Call us at 262-679-6100 or visit us online at TriCountyContractingWI.com.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Your family, your memories, our priority. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
Classical conservatism. Contemporary style. This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Welcome back to it. Producer Dave, doing his due diligence, already has up Houdini by Eminem, which I am way too scared to play, Producer Dave. How sure are we it's edited? It came from iHeart. I'm still nervous. I don't know. Also, I was informed during the commercial break that one of my favorite singers, well, I mean, he was one-hit wonder, the lead singer from Crazy Town, Shifty Shellshock, whose real name was Seth, passed away yesterday, unfortunately. You probably don't know who he is, but I guarantee you remember this song. Oh, early 2000s everywhere. Producer Dave says early 2000s on Water Street, you couldn't get away from this.
Come, my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come, my lady, come, my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Such a sexy, pretty little thing.
You could not get away. Circa 2005, you just could not escape this song. So, R.I.P. to Shifty. All right, we're gonna. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. All right. iHeart, so help me if you get me thrown off the air. Here's the song I was talking about, Houdini by Eminem. My vote for Song of the Summer.
Guess who's back again. She's back. Tell her friend.
Okay, it's fine now. All right.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Oh God, he's gonna start talking. Get the dump button ready, Dave.
Well, look what the stork brung. Little baby devil with the forked tongue. And it's sticking out, yeah, like a sore thumb. With a
Say what you will, the man is very good at rapping. Okay, I'm still too scared, Dave. Can we make it to the abracadabra part without any swear words?
And I don't gotta play pretend, it's you, I make believe.
So,
you know I'm here to stay.
Say what you will, this is an incredible skill. He's probably the best technical rapper of all time, if I'm being totally honest. And I'm a big, Tupac and Biggie guy, but this guy is incredibly skilled. Here we go.
Abracadabra.
And for my last trick,
I'm about to reach in my back, bro. Like abracadabra.
And for my last trick,
just like that, and I'm back, bro.
All right, now I'm not going to press my luck. Let's pop this down. So in case I'm going to take the money. I'm not going to press my luck. I am going back. The greatest risk. What did Rush Limbaugh used to say? The greatest professional risk was turning over his show to rank amateurs for Open Line Friday. No, the greatest risk that you could have as a broadcaster is playing an Eminem song without first having listened to it. This is the implicit trust that I have in my producer, Dave Michaels. Some of the other contenders for Song of the Summer are, hey, look at this right away. #1 song, according to Billboard, as a contender. Post Malone and Morgan Wallen. I'm telling you, this guy, he is the new... Who would he be? Everything he touches is an absolute smash hit. Post Malone, who would have guessed? Post Malone, Morgan Wallen. I had some help. I would say Phil Spector back when he was producing hit after hit with the Wall of Sound, but you can't really talk about Phil Spector anymore, given what he did. Did Phil die? Phil passed away a few years ago. I'm taking a wild guess. Did he? I know Beretta just died. He was another one who killed one of his girlfriends. Other songs in contention for Song of the Summer, Sabrina Carpenter with Espresso. I gotta love this. Do you remember Hosier? Hosier, Too Sweet is a fantastic song. And Hosier was, I don't want to say a one-hit wonder, but I mean, he had, what was his big song? Take Me to Church. Take Me to Church was like 10 years ago. And now he's back with a great, great song. Shabuzi with a song called Tipsy, which I would be shocked that Shabuzi has a song about drinking. Get It Sexy by Sexy Red with 2 X's. That's how you know Sexy Red is extra sexy, because there are 2 X's there. And also one of my favorite bands, actually, Vampire Weekend with the song Capricorn. All right, here's Too Sweet by Hosier.
You said I'm an early bird. It's 10 o'clock before I say a word. Baby, I can never tell. How do you sleep so well? You keep telling me to live right, to go to bed before the daylight. But then you wake up for the sunrise. You know you don't gotta pretend. Baby, now and then, don't you just wanna wake up dark as the lake?
This is a great song.
Like a bonfire.
Of course I've heard it.
If you're drunk on life, babe, I think it's great. But while in this world, I think I'll take my whiskey and leave.
Producer Dave is just rocking out in the producer's room there, yeah. You don't get to do this with Belling. No, Belling's the king of playing random songs. The ones he plays are just from like 1974.
I take my whiskey and
Anybody who says rock and roll is dead, and I know Belling is a big one who says rock and roll is dead. He's like, there are no good bands. I actually said, this was years ago, I turned him on to a band called Greta Van Fleet, who is just in Milwaukee, and a huge show. They're a big band. They sound almost exactly like Led Zeppelin. I mean, the guy sounds exactly like Robert Plant. It's remarkable. Greta Van Fleet. It's a band. Greta is not a woman. It's not like Greta Van Susteren, Dave. Greta Van Fleet is a band. And I turned him on to that. The 1975 is a fantastic band. They were in Milwaukee, I want to say last fall. They played the Fiserv Forum. And they've had a bit of a resurgence because one of the songs on Taylor Swift's album is supposedly about the lead singer, Matt Smith. Rock and roll is... It's no longer mainstream. It's no longer on channels. But what I would suggest is go on Spotify, go on your iHeartRadio app and just listen to the modern rock playlist. A lot of the songs, what's always endlessly hilarious to me is that modern rock typically is songs from like 25 years ago. It'll be like modern rock. Here's Green Day. Like, okay, here's Nirvana on the modern rock, because there aren't as many bands producing straight ahead rock music. But I mentioned Vampire Weekend. They've been pretty consistent. The 1975 Greta Van Fleet. There are a number of bands out there. You just kind of got to look a little harder for them. You're just never going to hear them on Top 40 radio because it has fallen so out of favor. It's sort of how the evolution of music takes place. Now rap has just totally taken over, and rock, I would argue, has gone in one of two directions. It's sort of infiltrated country, so you've got this straight-ahead country music, but the pop country, the kind of stadium country, is far more infused with rock and roll. And also, if you listen to the Christian network, what's it called? K-Love. That's all straight-ahead rock music, and they're just singing about Jesus instead of singing about drugs and women. Other than that, it's totally the same. Unhinged Liberal of the Day coming up next. Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. Over the last 75 years, the Lynch family has understood the value of a relationship with their own customers, their employees, and also their community. That's just one of the reasons they've been awarded a Top Workplace Award for the 5th consecutive year. Happy employees provide top-level service, and if you're tired of this same old car buying experience and want to be treated like family, let them show you the Lynch difference. With Lynch Certified, every qualified vehicle comes with peace of mind in the form of a 3-month, 3,000-mile certified warranty. Lynch Protected covers your windshield, road hazards, and paint for 1 year. With locations in Burlington, Kenosha, West Bend, and 3 stores in the McWanago community, Lynch is easy and convenient to find. Come and get treated like family and experience the Lynch difference, or find them online at shoplynch.com.
Uline is here for the hard workers, for the ones rolling up their sleeves, working round the clock, and getting the job done. You're dedicated to doing what it takes to keep a business growing. Uline is dedicated to helping you make that happen. Working 7 days a week, staying fully stocked and ready to ship any of our 41,000 items the same day. Uline, your shipping and industrial supply specialists. Visit uline.com.
Hey guys, welcome to the Home Box Stop. Ready for those new kitchen cabinets and countertops? Okay, well, let's get you guys going. Inches, centimeters, inches, right?
Right.
Is this your first time? Oh, no. Been here for years. Actually, in light bulbs. I'm covering for Karen. She took the week off. 1 sec. No worries. The computer does all the work.
Customer assistance to light bulbs.
Oh, that's me, BRB.
Yeah, let's go.
Granite Plus?
Hurry, here she comes.
Hi, I'm Laz with Granite Plus. Countertops and cabinets is what we do. As a meticulously detailed local fabricator, say goodbye to the middleman and upgrade your home with real factory direct savings. Homeowners, flippers, contractors, why would you pay more? Go to graniteplususa.com, that's graniteplususa.com, or visit any of our Milwaukee area showrooms and start saving today.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, owner of Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage. I get that most home shoppers just go with their bank when it comes to getting pre-approved, but that's probably a mistake because banks have a lot of overhead like branches, fancy headquarters, and layers of management. That means their closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 higher than AccuNet's for exactly the same rate. And that's not all. Bank pre-approval letters are usually weak and unconvincing, especially compared to AccuNet's rock-solid, fully verified pre-approval that provides a $2,000 guarantee to you and the seller. Our senior loan consultants will also look at every possible way to strengthen your offer and pre-approval in the eyes of that seller, especially if you're offering over the asking price. We even call the listing agent to reinforce what a great buyer you are. Banks don't do all that. Click on the blue button today at AccuNet.com and let our passionate mortgage pros help you win while you save a bunch of money too. That's ACCUNET.com.
I've always wanted 3 kids. I came from a family of 3 kids, and I started picturing having 3 car seats in the back of my truck.
That's Megan, Wisconsin native, working mom of 2, and lifelong conservative. Megan never thought she would get an abortion until a diagnosis late in her pregnancy changed everything.
Doctors told us our baby had no chance to survive. And because of Wisconsin's abortion ban, I would be forced to carry my baby for months, knowing he would die. It felt like a bad dream.
To get the care she needed, Megan had to leave the state. And now if senators in Washington pass a national abortion ban, families like Megan's will have nowhere to turn.
These decisions should be made privately amongst women and their families. And government should have no say in that. No senator in Washington should support a national abortion ban.
Paid for by Free and Just. Visit freeandjust.us to learn more.
Zero Foxtrot isn't just a brand, it's a way of life. Founded and operated by veterans, Zero Foxtrot's unique apparel and gear echoes the grit of the warrior culture. Zero Foxtrot dedicates itself to producing content, honoring the sacrifices of forgotten heroes of the past, and connecting history to the present. Embark on a journey with Zero Foxtrot today at zerofoxtrot.com. It's not merely our products, it's about the ethos that we embody. Rugged, resilient, and timeless.
Before you all start emailing me, yes, I heard the Free and Just national abortion ban commercial too. And yes, we are going to explore why exactly that was allowed to play on my show. I don't have a ton, folks, of control over some of the spots that air. Those are what are called national buys, meaning the company buys iHeartRadio, iHeartMedia's stations, and we have to. They buy Milwaukee, they buy Madison. For those who have no idea what I'm talking about, on WISN in Milwaukee over the air, you probably didn't hear it if you were listening on streaming, or if you were listening in Madison, or if you're listening to this later on a podcast, you wouldn't have heard it. It was a fear-mongering spot about a national abortion ban, and I'm actually kind of glad that that aired, because I would absolutely love to talk about this and the issues that do matter versus the issues that don't matter. And in fact, we're discussing this coming up in the 10 o'clock hour as Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen knows who's to blame for the out-of-control inflation in America. Donald Trump. Before we get to that, though, it's time to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day could be really nobody else. Casey Hunt having an absolute meltdown on CNN when Trump National Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt, who is, by the way, going to be joining us live to talk about this tomorrow at 9:35 a.m. Should have a lot of fun. We always do with Karoline. Casey Hunt, when Karoline tried to say, hey, one of your moderators, Jake Tapper, can't stop comparing Donald Trump to Hitler, Hunt had a meltdown for the ages.
It would take someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently,
we're going to stop this interview if you're going to keep attacking my colleagues.
Adolf Hitler.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf, I am willing to have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay.
Now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time. You are welcome to come back at any point. She is welcome to come back and speak about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump will have equal time to Joe Biden when they both join us now at later this week in Atlanta for this debate.
She was so flustered. Casey, all you have to say is Jake Tapper doesn't constantly compare Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler. That's all she would have had to do. Like, no, Karoline, that's just not accurate. He doesn't do that. He's totally fair. Only Jake Tapper, of course, always compares Donald Trump to Hitler.
The dehumanizing rhetoric of Adolf Hitler is once again alive and well on a national political stage. This time, of course, in the United States. Donald Trump, a couple times over the weekend, referred to immigrants from South America, Africa, and Asia. He did not mention Europe. South America, Africa, and Asia as, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, which it's not hyperbole. That does very directly echo Adolf Hitler's language before World War II. To open up a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf, you would find the Nazi leader describing the mixing of non-Germans with Germans as poisoning. There's really no other way to say it. Donald Trump's language mirrors this directly.
That sound you hear in the background is Casey Hunt bursting into the studio to try to hit stop on that montage. She is your unhinged liberal of the day. By the way, quick correction. I was unaware, and I'm going to use the fact that I was off for a couple of weeks. I did not realize CNN did strike an agreement with the other broadcast networks to allow simulcasting of their debate. For example, Fox News is going to air the debate, but it's going to be a simulcast. It's essentially going to be CNN on Fox News. Thank you to a number of people who were pointing that out. I did not. The original plan was that it was just going to air on CNN. My guess is the other networks, because this isn't, it's essentially what it's called is fair use, that this is a newsworthy event in and of itself. I think the biggest political moment of the entire year. I don't think that's hyperbole. The Trump-Biden debate. In fact, I think this is probably going to be the most watched political event probably since the last presidential debate in 2020 or the cumulative 2020 presidential election night. There is just tremendous interest. And because of that, CNN has agreed to allow the other networks to essentially carry it, even though it might cut into CNN's ratings. They still get the advantage of CNN's brand being pretty much everywhere across the country. All right, we are out of time for this hour. We will be back in just a second with more of The Dan O'Donnell Show.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. The Secret Service has finalized the security perimeter for next month's Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Police Chief Jeffrey Norman expects protesters to behave.
So the expectation is express yourself. This is what our Constitution is based on. But we will not tolerate anything beyond that particular type of activity because this is our city. and we're proud of it.
People will be allowed to carry guns within blocks of the downtown security perimeter. Protesters will be given 2 outdoor stages outside the perimeter, although one of them will be within sight of Fiserv Forum. Meanwhile, those who plan to protest at the RNC are getting ready to bail themselves out of jail. Protesters yesterday announced they'll hold a bail fund fundraising concert on the Sunday before the convention. Coalition to March on the 2024 RNC's Omar Flores says they want to be prepared to spring fellow protesters from jail if they need to. The concert to be held in Milwaukee's Harbor District will feature 6 bands. Flores isn't saying just how much bail money they hope to raise. More storms across the Midwest today will cause rivers across the region to continue to surge as the area reels from severe flood damage and widespread disruption. Over 30 million people are at risk of severe weather this evening, with as much as 2 inches of rain per hour possible in parts of Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, and Minnesota. President Biden declared a major disaster this morning and pledged federal aid to support state, local, and tribal recovery efforts. Checking the WISN Sports Scoreboard, the Brewers and Texas Rangers are back at it tonight at American Family Field after a win by Milwaukee last night. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130, WISN.
And that's the best thing about Capital's AC Beyondification.
Absolutely.
I agree. Hey, Merle, what you got? What's this? A screenplay?
Let me see this. Captain Capital, Heat and Air Hero.
That's so awesome, Merle.
Hang on. I've been writing a screenplay like this.
For years.
It's an epic, and it's Capital Man, not Captain Capital. Yes, of course he restores your air conditioner to like new condition.
Says here, Captain Capital has a deep clean device.
Aha! Capital Man deep cleans your system with his laser beam hands.
What?
I'm developing a sidekick. He always does the comprehensive safety checks. You wrote yourself in as the sidekick?
As long as it gets across how Capital's AC Beyondification saves the day.
And how you want to do it before summer hits.
Well, that's the whole point.
That's what I'm saying.
Then it's great.
Laura, Seth, I need a moment with Merle, please.
Schedule your AC Beyondification today online at callcapitalcares.com.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
A hot and sticky Tuesday with a high near 92 and a dew point of 72. We had an early round of rain and thunderstorms, but should come down later in the day. Partly cloudy, 68 tonight, 76 tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Kowal Investment Group, the retirement specialists.
Selling your business can be a stressful time for a business owner. When it's time to step away, our advisors at Kowal Investment Group, the retirement specialist, can help you sort through your options. Give us a call today at 262-522-4040 and listen Saturday at 10 a.m. to the Retirement Clinic.
Life's a journey, and Russ Darrow is revving up for the ride. Russ Darrow and the places you'll go. Head to russdarrow.com to explore how they can help you get to your next adventure.
Southeastern Wisconsin's golf courses are bursting with springtime green, and Golf for Less Online is a way to keep some green in your wallet while playing those great local tracks. Check out these discounts for 2 rounds of 18 plus a cart. Morningstar Golfers Club in the Big Bend area is just $77. Fairways of Woodside in Sussex is going for $54, and you can play Delbrook Golf Club in Delavan for just $30. Get your certificates now, golfforlessonline.com, golfforlessonline.com.
I'm Monica Kessler.
Monica makes sure that everything at Kessler's is worthy of a lifetime warranty.
The quality of your ring is incredibly important when it comes to diamond setting, ring sizing, and repairs.
Monica has been part of Kessler's since she was 6 years old.
Let me tell you how to judge the quality of the jewelry you're buying.
It's easier than you think.
All you have to do is read the warranty.
Most stores offer a 5-year warranty, but Kessler's offers a lifetime warranty, the strongest in the world.
We can do it because we put more gold in your jewelry.
When a jeweler wants to make a bigger profit, they put less gold into the jewelry. This makes it thinner and easier to break.
Theirs might look like ours at first glance, but Kessler's jewelry is made not to break, and that takes more gold.
We give you a lifetime warranty because our jewelry is made to last forever, just like your love.
Gold is more than $2,000 an ounce.
Kessler's gives you more gold, a lot more gold.
The location of the Kessler's nearest you. Go to Kessler'sDiamonds.com. GreatMidwestBank.com.
Today's Dan O'Donnell program is brought to you by Great Midwest Bank. Whether you're ready to buy, build, or renovate, Great Midwest Bank takes the stress out of paying for it. Get started today at GreatMidwestBank.com.
Boness Brookfield MediSpa's regenerative aesthetic therapies stimulate your own tissues, your own cells to rejuvenate your own skin, providing incredibly natural-looking results that continue to repair, restore, and improve your skin over time. Your body, your life, your skin. Love it. drboness.com.
Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for health care can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. So maybe you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're much happier with. Here's the number you need. 844-53-BIBLE. That's 844-53-BIBLE.
Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
The former president wants his job back. The current president doesn't want to give it up. Listen to live coverage of Donald Trump and Joe Biden going mano a mano in a CNN presidential debate. Simulcast this Thursday starting at 8 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
So if you were listening during the last segment of the last hour, specifically the commercial break before the last segment where we named the unhinged liberal of the day, you would have heard an ad that was fear-mongering over a national abortion ban. And I don't think it's a coincidence because I just saw in the morning rundown of news bites that I get from our friends at Grabien.com, although I think there might be some issue with our, the morning email hasn't come. Our account has been disabled. We've just got to, every June, we have to re-up. I'm sure this is fascinating for our contract for Grabien. I'm sure something got lost in the translation there. But what I've noticed over the last couple of days is Democrats talking about a national abortion ban. A national abortion ban. Why do you think that is? Clearly, nobody is talking about a national abortion ban. No serious Republican is saying, yes, what we need is a national abortion ban, because I think pretty much every Republican understands that abortion has been killing Republicans politically just as much as it's been killing babies since Roe v. Wade. It's been killing Republicans electorally since Roe v. Wade was overturned in the summer of 2022. In fact, almost exactly 2 years ago, yesterday was the 2-year anniversary, which is probably why you're seeing all of this rhetoric. They want to recapture the magic of that summer of 2022, where they were able to get a whole lot of people convinced that Republicans wanted to, send women back to the back alleys and coat hangers of the pre-Roe era that they pretended was America in 1972. This is, I think, yet another sign of Democrat desperation. And I will apologize at this point, folks. My voice, I think I'm coming down with a cold. My wife, my father-in-law, my daughter has been coughing for about 2 weeks. I think it's my turn now, and I'm just a little scratchy today. So hopefully I will be able to power through. But what I see this as is a bit of desperation here, because it's beyond apparent that the two biggest issues in America right now are inflation. And when we say inflation, that's almost a misnomer. But the real issue is prices. When we say inflation, Democrats are able to say, well, inflation is down. Yeah, it's still up significantly from 2021. And of course, just because year over year inflation comes down, that doesn't mean prices come down. In fact, we would need inflation to be negative 17% to undo the damage of the Biden administration. But this is exactly what KJP is trying to do. This morning on Morning Joe, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
So yes, eggs and milk, and there were grocery things that were up. It has gone down. It has gone down since 2022. Gas prices, because of the actions that this president took, and let's not forget there was an invasion, but Russia did obviously into Ukraine that caused gas prices to tick up. The president took action, tapped the SPR, and we saw gas prices go down. The president has met the moment with every issue that we have had in front of us.
Only the most gullible among us will believe that because of Russia's invasion, gas prices went up. In fact, this is remarkably easy to debunk. Gas prices started going up almost immediately after Biden took office. In fact, it was Memorial Day weekend when we typically see demand for gas increase. We saw prices skyrocket, and they stayed high until the moment that Putin invaded Ukraine. In fact, now that the global petroleum market has stabilized in the 2 years since that invasion, we're still seeing sky-high gas prices. In fact, I actually went to fill up yesterday. Now, my car requires premium. Yes, I know, 1%er and all. You can make fun of me all you want. To fill up, and I have a 16-gallon tank, 15.3 gallons. It was $72. $4.69 a gallon. I wish I didn't have to fill my car with premium because gas is $3.60 somewhere in there. Premium has been typically about $1 more. Gas prices have been up 44% since Biden took office. Grocery prices. KJP says, well, they're down. Grocery inflation is down. Yeah, the rate of increase is down from 9% to 3% year over year. What happens when prices increase 3% after they increased 3% last year and increased 9% the year before? Prices are up 15%. The prices don't go down. The rate of inflation goes down. But unless you have negative inflation, prices don't go down. I feel like a broken record on this, but this really is the single best way to explain how exactly this impacts you. The average family of four, according to Moody's Analytics, just in inflationary costs, and inflation occasionally it's not distributed equally, and it is distributed regionally. For example, inflation in food prices might be higher in Maine, but gas prices might be lower. Gas prices might be much higher in Los Angeles, but food prices might not be up relative to pre-Biden levels. Do you follow me? The issue with this is that inflation has hit basically every staple, every necessity in people's lives. It's not as though inflation is only hitting Lamborghinis, which I'm sure most people probably wouldn't feel. When it's hitting everything, when we've got broad-based inflation, and when we've got inflation in the price of energy, you've got a real problem. The best way to explain this to people is that inflation is costing the average American family $12,000 per year. Moody's Analytics, for years, actually for about a calendar year, the Congressional Republican Caucus put out an analysis, and it said that the average American family was paying $11,434 more per year. I've got this number seared in my mind, $11,434. Well, that's a partisan analysis, Dan. You can't take that seriously. Okay, well, now we've got Moody's Analytics, and this is from April, which means because there has been month-over-month inflation, those prices have actually gone up. For the sake of arguments, we're just going to round this up to $12,000. It's a little more than $12,000 per year. Average family of 4, husband, wife, 2 kids. $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month, every single month. Now, most families, especially younger families who have kids in the house, they have monthly budgets. You budget rent, you budget your mortgage, you budget utilities, you budget car payments, you budget school costs, sports, whatever, entertainment costs. If you're responsible, you're budgeting everything out. It's a luxury if you don't have to do a home budget. If you had $1,000 expense, how would you pay for it? Roughly 50% of American families cannot afford a sudden $1,000 expense. We've had one every month for the past 3 years. There's not a whole lot you can do. You can take on a second job. You can join the gig economy by driving Uber. You can cut back. Or you can, I don't know, grin and bear it. $12,000 a year. That's $33 a day. Just imagine, I would say this is a lunch for 2, $33. This is like lunch for 1.5 right now is $33. Every single day of the year, 365 days a year, you're paying an extra $33 in inflation costs. Now, it seems as though the Biden administration is starting to understand that they're not going to be able to talk this away, that they're not going to be able to say, yeah, you know what, you're actually doing great, because the talking point for a long time was people judge how good the Biden economy is for them. Bidenomics is working. You people are just too stupid to realize it. Janet Yellen was in an interview with Yahoo Finance yesterday, and she acknowledged, look, the economy is not great right now. Do you know who's to blame? Trump.
The signature policy from the Trump years was the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, and it promised an investment boom, which really did not materialize. It gave huge tax breaks to corporations and to wealthy individuals, and it resulted in an enormous increase in the deficit and lowered tax revenues below historic norms. And I think it's responsible for many of the problems that we face now with our fiscal trajectory.
Now, I can prove that this isn't actually what they thought caused inflation way back in 2021. Do you know how? Because they were constantly saying it's transitory. It's transitory. If it was Trump's fault, they would have said, look, it was the Trump tax cuts. We don't have enough government revenue. This is nonsensical on its face. Inflation is caused by too many dollars chasing too few goods. We had a supply chain crunch simultaneous to a situation in which people were getting money for sitting around. We were incentivizing not rejoining the workforce during the COVID-19 pandemic. Here's a montage of Yellen, of Biden, of everybody back in 2021 telling us inflation was transitory. Don't worry about it. Yes, we know our policies are causing it, but it's going to go away quickly.
The vast majority of the experts, including Wall Street, are suggesting that it's highly unlikely that it's going to be long-term inflation that's going to get out of hand.
Most economic analysts believe that it will have a temporary or transitory impact.
In the end, it will be transitory.
Supply bottlenecks have developed that have caused inflation. I believe that they're transitory.
There's nobody suggesting there's unchecked inflation on the way. No serious economist.
Did you catch Janet Yellen, by the way, in there? Supply chain bottlenecks have caused inflation. It wasn't anything about fiscal policy. It certainly wasn't Donald Trump's tax cuts. All right, if this was the case, do you know when Donald Trump's tax cuts were passed? December of 2017. But we saw such a lagging effect that the inflationary impact of them wasn't felt until the exact moment Biden's stimulus checks started to get spent in 2021. Okay, Janet, thank you very much. We'll take some phone calls. We'll get some texts next here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Keep in touch with Dan on Twitter at Dan O'Donnell Show. More of the show is next.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Coming back to Las Vegas. September 20th and 21st. Streaming live only on Hulu.
Don't miss.
Big Sean, Camila Cabello, Doja Cat, Gwen Stefani, Hozier, Keith Urban, New Kids on the Block, Paramore, Shabuzi, The Black Crowes, Thomas Rhett, Victoria Monet,
and more.
Get tickets to our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, right now, before they sell out.
At AXS.com.
Champagne's not as cheap as ginger ale, and you can't buy caviar for the same price as candy. But right now, you can buy the highest-end Beautyrest Black and Tempur-Pedic mattresses for nowhere near their highest-end prices. Hassellus Mattress is clearing out a handful of premium floor models. These mattresses are the best, and you can get them for way less. Like the Split King Tempur-Pedic Luxe Breeze in soft or firm was $10,198, now just $25,488. Or the Queen Beautyrest Black L-Class Firm was $26.99, but the floor model is just $13.49. Plus, save with massive markdowns on adjustable bases, starting at $287. It's like buying a Rolls Royce for $10,000 just because it sat on the showroom floor. Selection is limited. Only a few floor models are available at each Hassellus location, and when they're gone for good. Find a self-service, employee-free showroom near you at Hassellus.com.
If you want a fiduciary guiding your financial plan that will treat your assets as if they were their own, go to FinancialStrategiesInc.com.
Financial strategies, what's the way to build your wealth?
Self-medicating with pills or sprays may make matters worse. Life-changing nasal breathing relief that can lead to much better sleep starts with a healthy breathing triangle.
Zero Foxtrot isn't just a brand, it's a way of life. Founded and operated by veterans, Zero Foxtrot's unique apparel and gear echoes the grit of the warrior culture. Zero Foxtrot dedicates itself to producing content, honoring the sacrifices of forgotten heroes of the past, and connecting history to the present. Embark on a journey with Zero Foxtrot today at ZeroFoxtrot.com. It's not merely our products, it's about the ethos that we embody. Rugged, resilient, and timeless.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-444-2013.
The next generation is here. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Let's go out to the phones to Mosinee, where we find Mike. Mike, welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Thank you, Dan. The big thing that people forget is the higher cost, the more money you have to pay, you're paying more taxes, and that's what the Democrats love about this whole ordeal.
This is a good point. This is a very, very good point. That it fattens their pockets. And what you see also, Milwaukee is a perfect example of this, Mike. What just happened? City of Milwaukee just implemented a brand new 2% sales tax. If you are paying more, now food is exempt here, but let's say you buy a cell phone, right? $500 cell phone, that's 2% that is going to city government. You also have Milwaukee County. They raised their sales tax as well. You also have basically every taxing authority is, perfectly fine with higher taxes. And not only that, Mike, as taxes get raised on other things, this provides a similar crunch and an even tighter crunch on the consumer. As property taxes go up, which, again, let's take a look at the city of Milwaukee. Property taxes are going to go up by an average of, what, $100-some bucks on your typical house in the city of Milwaukee to pay for this $250 million referendum that voters gave the city of Milwaukee's public schools without ever knowing, because of the Department of Public Instruction conspiring with MPS to keep a secret from the public that MPS was just not accounting for any of the tax money that it had already gotten. I still can't fathom why this isn't the biggest. Well, actually, I can. The media is just totally uninterested in this story. It is a massive scandal that the Department of Public Instruction's secretary, Jill Underly, went on up front, and Jaron Jordan, a very talented anchor, got her to admit, yeah, we knew about this, and yeah, we decided that we just weren't going to say anything. She specifically said, because we didn't want to interfere with MPS getting its money. Here, you know what? I know we're getting a little far afield here. It's a 2-minute thing, and I'm going to interrupt it. People have to hear this. Underly literally admitted on Sunday that DPI kept relevant knowledge from the public because they wanted MPS to get $250 million from the already dramatically overtaxed people of Milwaukee without knowing that MPS has possibly been the worst steward of the public trust in Wisconsin's history.
Why didn't DPI make this known before voters approved a $252 million referendum?
Yeah, so we're focused on getting MPS back into compliance, and we have not interfered in referendums in the past. So I can't imagine if DPI started weighing in on local school district referendums, what repercussions that would have, how school boards would feel about that, how superintendents would feel about that. And so we really rely as a local control state for that relationship between the superintendent and the board to keep each other informed.
MPS leaders.
Okay, wait, hold on. April 2nd, 2024. State Superintendent statement on Tuesday's school referendum results. She doesn't weigh in on referenda, remember. It's a literal statement. Press release from DPI. State Superintendent Dr. Jill Underly today released the following statement regarding school referendums on the ballot across Wisconsin. Wisconsin communities value our public schools and the future of our kids, but they are being put in an impossible position. While billions of dollars sit in the state's coffers in the form of a surplus, voters are making the difficult decision whether to raise their own taxes just so their public schools can survive. Tonight's referendum results are further proof that our state is not living up to its responsibility. For far too long, Wisconsin has willfully underfunded our public schools, and it's led to severe financial constraints and difficult choices. What is she saying? That she is glad referenda passes because she wants more funding. She's saying, well, the state legislature needs to give more money to the schools, but she's perfectly fine. It's a lie that DPI doesn't weigh in on school referendum. Underly herself was campaigning for local school board candidates in Waukesha, for goodness sakes. Of course, DPI politicizes itself and gets involved in local school funding issues. What an absolute load of horse you-know-what.
About this in March. DPI knew about this in March. I know that you say that you didn't realize how bad of an issue it was, but there was a massive campaign asking taxpayers to pass this referendum, $252 million. There was never any mention that MPS had been late from MPS officials or DPI. Do you think that that was disingenuous to taxpayers?
Well, not at all necessarily, because a referendum is there to help the school district be able to provide programs for kids. We have to do what's best for kids, and passing a referendum is what's best for kids in many all situations.
Even if that money is needed only because of their own errors on keeping the finances together?
Well, I guess it would just necessarily depend. When I look at a referendum, that's to keep programs going. That's to pay your teachers. That's certainly to make sure all kids can read. It's a lot of different things that are outside of financial problems.
Could they have been able to pay teachers and keep kids in the classrooms by keeping their finances in order?
the thing is, it's like we pushed to make this public, all right? And when it comes to financial reporting and it comes to how, the community is informed, we can do better. And we are looking at ways to make that more transparent.
Oh, yeah. You know how you could make it more transparent? You make it public when you hear about it, knowing full well that this could impact the referendum. This is a flat-out scandal. The public has a right to know before it votes on this. I'm sorry. I know I think angrier about this than I am anything in politics right now. The just flat-out disingenuousness. That's putting it lightly. Just the flat-out lies. And the poor people of Milwaukee are soaked for even more taxes without knowing. Producer Dave is one of them. Without knowing, without being an informed electorate at the way in which Milwaukee Public Schools has been frittering away their money. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We're going to step aside for a break. We'll be right back in just a sec.
The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
Kathy, could you see who's at the door?
I bet it's another one of our neighbors asking who did our outdoor lighting.
Hey, sorry to bother you, Kathy, but could you tell me who did your custom outdoor lighting?
World Class Outdoor Lighting.
Yeah, we're pretty happy. We met Brian and Kevin from World Class Outdoor Lighting. They did an outstanding job. It's the most professional and trustworthy company we've had a pleasure to work with. Brian and Kevin's design and input along with our ideas of what we wanted really exceeded our expectations.
World Class Outdoor Lighting is the only company we will refer to our friends and neighbors.
Hi, I'm Kevin, owner of World Class Outdoor Lighting. We're a leader in technology, material, and design, which means you can expect years of quality outdoor lighting. With multiple offices, we can serve the entire listening area. Be the envy of your neighborhood. Give our main office a call and set up a free consultation. 262-549-5483 or 262-549-LIGHT, L-I-T-E, or visit us online at worldclassoutdoorlighting.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
Call Callan to remodel your kitchen or bathroom or to replace windows and doors. Callan, design, build, live. Call 414-529-5509. Visit callcallan.com or stop at its Muskego Design Center.
Jay Weber here, someone who knows firsthand how debilitating spine and back problems can be and who knows where to turn to get the highest level of spine care. The team of board-certified physicians and surgeons at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Ortho Wisconsin has treatment plans that can get you back to an active lifestyle and through the least invasive method possible. They take a multifaceted approach that allows them to use a variety of treatment options and find the best for you. Dr. Michael Nolte is their newest spine surgeon, and he and his colleagues are nationally recognized clinicians dedicated to enhancing quality of care for patients looking to restore and recover spinal function. Pain managing procedures are done at Ortho Wisconsin's Ambulatory Surgery Center in Pewaukee and at their Brookfield Clinic, and the more conservative treatments, like physical therapy, are offered at their New Berlin location as well. Find more info at orthowisconsin.com. In fact, if you have any shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain, check out orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
For your next exterior remodeling project, we know you're not asking a lot from us. You want the right products for your situation, you want a few different financing options that can make your project affordable, and you want us to do a good job with minimal disruption to your life. And this one's important. You want a warranty that matters. And we know that checking every box makes all the difference. You might be surprised at how many moving parts go into it, but we have just the right people in all the right places to pull that off every day and make it look easy. The company we have took us 21 years to build. It's an awesome place to work because we never stop improving it. And we think we can do this work so well that we can actually change the reputation of exterior remodelers long term. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Ask about our finance options.
When Home Depot couldn't help him with an off-size door jamb, they told him to come here. And we had it, with multiple options to choose from. It's true. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door is the best place to go for your unusual size window and door needs. And of course, for your custom orders. We're known for all things windows and doors. And that goes for the knowledge you'll find here too, which, by the way, comes at no extra charge. It's been like this for over 60 years, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. You might call us old-fashioned, but the way I see it, when it comes to pleasing our customers, if it's not broke, there's no need to fix it. We're all things windows and doors, and when it comes to that, we're definitely your clear choice for more. This is David Wilhelm. There's no need to go to those big box stores hoping they'll have what you need, because we have what you need for all your window and door replacement or repair needs at Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. Easy to find on 51st and Lisbon.
Your clear choice for more. Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Find out more at lisbonstorm.com.
Every few years, we see some crazy things. The onslaught of cicadas, solar storms and northern lights, and your pet goat's colonoscopy. You know what else is crazy? Thinking you'll make it through another summer with that old, worn-out, inefficient comfort system. If your antique air conditioner is struggling to blow cold when it gets hot, imagine the smackdown winter will put on your furnace. Let Mr. Holland's Home Services install a new, fully warranted, high-efficiency comfort system. And we make it crazy affordable by offering interest-free financing for 36 months with approved credit. So, if the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, Mr. Holland's definition of crazy is running your aging AC over and over and expecting consistently cool indoor air. Call 866-992-1717 or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. If you're crazy about comfort, we can help.
Have you heard that real estate commissions are coming down? Ask your 6% broker if they're still charging 6%. Spoiler alert, they are. Before you overpay to sell your home, Google Redefined Realty. We have 15 to 20 agents, 3 local offices, West Bend, Waukesha, and Pewaukee, and over 500 5-star Google reviews. At just 3.99%, you can sell your home for a fair price and get the professional full-service MLS representation that you deserve. Don't pay 6% in such a hot housing market. It's just 3.99% at Redefined Realty for the same thing.
BlueMountainExpress.com. We will improve your move.
Statewide. Just catching up on my comments on the live stream via the Dano Cam. A lot of you people don't like it when I talk about music. The stick to the issues crowd out in full force. Stop this, I could care less about this stuff. No conservative news today, rap thought, not just rap talk. I'll admit, that's pretty good. Conservative thought, not just talk. Very good. Terry on Facebook. Where else do I go? I would recommend, I don't know, who else is on opposite me? Glenn Beck? I don't know, probably iHeart. Bongino, is he on opposite me? Yeah, on like streaming. Yeah, producer Dave, we have literally no clue what's on opposite us. I don't even, what is TMJ airing right now? I know Scafidi got pared down to an hour. It's the On Milwaukee Business Hour. Is that what's on now? I honestly don't know. The flea market free-for-all. You know what they should do? And I suggested this half in jest. Bring back Ask Your Neighbor. I know Gordy passed away a long time ago. By the way, one of the nicest men you could ever meet. Did you ever meet Gordy when you were there? Oh, he was on the WBH, or the Wisconsin Broadcast Association, lobbying trips. How have I gotten out of those for like 15 years? I know I'm on the air every day, but Gordon Hinckley, wonderfully nice guy. And he was already I think he was already in the National Radio Hall of Fame when I was like 22 years old. And he treated me like an equal. And that's how I always sort of judged with, what's this? A golf show is on right now called The Upswing on TMJ. That can't be right. That's got to be a weekend show. The Upswing? be a golf show. Somebody change the channel to TMJ. Can we simulcast TMJ like all the other networks are doing with CNN? Yeah, Jeff Sherman. He's the On Milwaukee guy, or at least he used to be. But it's a business. I don't know why it's called The Upswing. Because they want people to think it's a golf show? I don't know. Jeff Sherman will help you. Can we get Chuck Garabedian in to co-host? Like, what? I don't know. Frankly, guys, I have absolutely no idea. Yeah, well, that's it exactly. They actually asked me. Producer Dave is on a bit of a rant in there, which is I'm kind of glad we don't let you on the air, because the producer Dave rants about what? Yeah, I said it. This is true. Dave says you don't let me on the air. I've been on the air more than you. Touche, David. Touche. He's in my ear yapping. He's like, why don't they just... He's got many thoughts about our competitors' program. Do you want to talk about Bob and Brian too now? Like how Bob and Brian need to fire the news lady? Do you have any other thoughts? Do you have thought? I don't even know who another morning show is. Dave and Carol have long since been broken up. Dave and Doreen. Okay. What about, I honestly don't think I could. I know we have Zabin on the sports show. Yeah, Scott and Shannon on FM 106. Kiss FM. I know Ronnie was here for a while. Now he's over at K-Love, right? Wes, have they announced that, by the way? Wes? Oh, he's been there for 3 months. Okay. Wes McCain is a good friend of both producer Dave and me. And he told me once I happened to run into him and his wife, and we were just talking for a good long time, had a drink or two together. And he was telling me, he's like, you can't tell anybody, but I'm going to do mornings in Minneapolis. I'm like, oh, hey, buddy, that's awesome. Yeah, that's his hometown. And so I was just super proud of him and super happy. I do miss the random texts from Wes to both you and I, Dave, just commenting about stuff that we talk about on the radio. But what Dave was saying was that why don't the TMJ shows just keep it simple, like the Mark Belling late afternoon show? It's Mark Belling. It's on in the late afternoon. Bada bing, bada boom. This is why when WISN said that, Dan, we're going to give you your own talk show, Jerry said, well, what do you want to call it? I'm like, the Dan O'Donnell Show. Do you know why that is? Why it's always a good idea to name the show after yourself? Because it's real easy to replace, let's say, Midday Madness with Dan O'Donnell. Real easy to get rid of the Dan O'Donnell part and have Midday Madness with Dave Michaels. Another reason I don't put you on the air. It's career self-preservation here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Okay. Glenn Beck is on. Brian Kilmeade. Listeners are telling me if they don't want to listen to me, you can also listen to Brian Kilmeade, who is actually great. We had him on the show. Boy, this was probably 6 years ago. Wonderfully nice guy. At least he was. Aaron says, I heart Bob and Brian. Should we block Aaron? Should we ban him from the... No, I'm just kidding. I love Bob and Brian too. I never get a chance to listen to these guys. I mean, I used to listen to Bob and Brian when I was a kid. It was like Belling and Bob and Brian and Dave and Carol and Reitman and Miller. That was Milwaukee radio. Yeah, Milwaukee, says producer Dave. You know what? Do you want to just take over the last 17 minutes of the show? I'm pretty tapped out. I'm in the process of moving. We've got to be out of our house on July 1st, and I am just so completely burnt out. We get back from Europe, and immediately it's like an all-out sprint. Producer Dave is now in there. Okay, this is going to be like time number 45 this year that I'm firing you. He's in there playing an imaginary violin. Yes, I am aware, first world problems. All right? My entire life is in boxes. I feel like I've been wearing the same underwear for 4 straight days. I'm kidding about that part. But it's like I've got a small rotation of shirts that I am now. Everything else is at my in-laws or in boxes in my garage. And it's just been crazy. Should we just let the audience You know what? Let's do open line rest of the show because based on the calls today, can I say what the one guy wanted to talk about? The yawning guy. Okay, so one guy, you know what we should do? A segment, calls that don't get on the air. Oh my gosh, yes. Producer Dave, you need to record that. We need to figure out a way to record them in there. And some of the calls that Dave takes are insane. One guy said, I assume he was joking. He said, I have access to the president. He said, since you and I, since producer Dave and I have access to the president, we should get him we should go to the debate in Atlanta and sit right in the front row when there's no audience, but yawn, because yawning is contagious. That will get Biden to yawn, and he will look like an old, tired man. Dave, you have your assignment. Book the plane tickets to Atlanta. We'll be there Thursday night, sir. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back.
Dan O'Donnell is coming right back after this.
Well, that's why you have to check out our website. We're pretty proud of our before and after photos because they show off just how good we really are. I can confidently say that whatever you bring us, we're going to use every bit of magic we have to turn it into a one-of-a-kind work of art. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. Mullally finishing.com. If it's worth restoring, we're going to tell you. If it's not worth the cost of restoring, then we're going to give you an honest answer. You don't stay in the furniture finishing business for nearly 50 years unless you're honest and talented. Luckily, we're both. And that means all of your expectations will be met. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Kino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cabovers than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit LynchTruckCenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
I've always wanted 3 kids. I came from a family of 3 kids, and I started picturing having 3 car seats in the back of my truck.
That's Megan, Wisconsin native, working mom of 2 and lifelong conservative. Megan never thought she would get an abortion until a diagnosis late in her pregnancy changed everything.
Doctors told us our baby had no chance to survive. And because of Wisconsin's abortion ban, I would be forced to carry my baby for months, knowing he would die. It felt like a bad dream.
To get the care she needed, Megan had to leave the state. And now if senators in Washington pass a national abortion ban, families like Megan's will have nowhere to turn.
These decisions should be made privately amongst women and their families. And government should have no say in that. No senator in Washington should support a national abortion ban.
Paid for by Free and Just. Visit freeandjust.us to learn more.
You know, since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been committed to supporting our nation's first responders and veterans. They support America's heroes like U.S. Army Major Jonathan Turnbull. Now, Major Turnbull sustained devastating injuries at the hands of an ISIS suicide bomber. Tunnel to Towers gave him a specially adapted smart home designed for his needs. Join Tunnel to Towers. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month so this great work continues. Their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Need a tree on the ground now? Cut and Go offers same day or next day half service tree removal. We do the dangerous part, putting the trees on the ground in orderly fashion. You do the cleanup. A Trees and Tons movement. CutandGoTrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geist. Need a new garage door? Do it right. Don't think twice. Call Geist.
For all your garage door needs, don't think twice. Call Geist or visit their online showroom at geiststores.com.
Need to sell your home fast? Metro Milwaukee Homebuyer can help you with that. Get cash for your home quick, no matter the reason you're selling it or the condition it's currently in. Visit MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com and find out about how you can sell your home fast for cash.
Want to make your yard the envy of the neighborhood? Tune in to Brett Ochtenhagen's Seasonal Services Designer Yard Show to learn landscaping secrets. Visit seasonalservices.com and listen on News Talk 1130 WISN, Saturdays at 1 p.m.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Conservatism, contemporary style. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Gotta love this. Big headline in the Washington Post today. We've been accidentally cooling the planet, and it's about to stop. What? It is widely accepted that humans have been heating up the planet for over a century by burning coal, oil, and gas. Earth has already warmed by almost 1.2 degrees Celsius or 2.2 degrees Fahrenheit since pre-industrial times, and the planet is poised to race past the hoped-for limit of 1.5 degrees Celsius of warming. But fewer people know that burning fossil fuels doesn't just cause global warming, it also causes global cooling. It is one of the great ironies of climate change that air pollution, which has killed tens of millions, has also curbed some of the worst effects of a warming planet. Folks, they're literally admitting now that global warming is also global cooling. So if the planet cools, that's also evidence of climate change. If it warms, it is, of course, evidence of climate change, and we still don't have a good answer to a very simple question. What was the average temperature a million years ago? What was the average temperature when Christ walked the earth? What was the average global temperature in the Middle Ages? In fact, there was something called the medieval warming period, which was actually so spectacular for human development that we saw a population explosion across the globe. How do we know that the temperature that we have now is the only average global temperature that can actually sustain human life? It still boggles my mind that we're just accepting at face value this idea that, well, because pre-industrial times there was a temperature that was 2.2 degrees Fahrenheit warmer or cooler than it is right now, that this is necessarily causing the destruction of planet Earth. The medieval warming period, which was immediately succeeded by the Little Ice Age, which was, I believe, don't quote me on this, it was 1700s to about the 1800s. And the Great Medieval Warming period lasted for hundreds of years. And what it led to was the tremendous expansion. It was probably, I would say, 800 to about 1300 or something like that. And because of that, you had crops just flourishing across Europe, and we saw it was actually what pulled Europe into the high Middle Ages. It was a period of great technological advancement, a great period of construction, of expansion of Europe by various empires, and we just saw the biggest thing that we can see from the historical records was that it was great for human civilization. I mean, we just had a boon in human civilization. Who's to say that if the average global temperature, and here's another thing. We have been told that sea levels will rise and that sea levels have been rising. I want you to pull up a picture of Plymouth Rock. Yes, that Plymouth Rock. The actual inscription of 1620, which was made on the rock. And I want you to look at in 1620 versus 2024, 404 years later, where those water levels are. The exact same spot. Now we're told that if we continue to pollute, if we continue to warm our planet through the burning of fossil fuels, that, Dan, it's not necessarily that we're going to have these, devastating things. But if the sea levels rise just a little bit, human beings have been dramatically building up areas right along the oceans, right along the seas for the past 50, 60 years. Those will all be in danger. Why is it that the people who espouse this nonsense that somehow we'll all be killed as the seas rise and consume us all, why is it that they keep building oceanfront properties? Barack and Michelle Obama have a massive compound on Martha's Vineyard. If they really believed that, as AOC has been saying, we've got, 4 years? The world will end in 12 years. It's a pretty horrible investment if you're right on the ocean side in Martha's Vineyard, is it not? And we've been hearing about this forever. There were predictions in the 1990s that parts of New York City, that the freeway that runs along the Hudson River would be underwater by 2010. That obviously didn't happen. Al Gore saying the polar ice caps would melt by 2014. That was a decade ago. In the intervening 10 years between now and then, we've had record high Arctic ice. I don't think there is much doubt that we are seeing a warming trend. The issue, though, is optimal temperature. The issue, though, is the extent to which the burning of fossil fuels is responsible for this, and why exactly we are just completely discounting natural fluctuations over the course of hundreds of years, which are long in human terms, but not even a quarter of a blink of an eye in geologic or Earth time, and to what extent the giant ball of flaming gas that both heats and lights our world has an impact, and changes in sunspot or solar activity have a dramatic impact on the temperature and fluctuations in climate here on Earth. It's amazing how the biggest factor in heating and lighting our world is just never even taken into account when it comes to this. So now we are cooling the world. At the same time, we are heating the world. Just so we have this, Washington Post today. Tomorrow, we are going to play America's favorite game show, Guess What's Racist. We also talk with Caroline Leavitt, Trump's national press secretary, about the big Casey Hunt meltdown on Monday. Talk to you then.